Why do spiritual teachers, even the best ones, appear to contradict themselves at times? Let's talk about this in today's video. Hello, good people of the internet. Welcome to another Ask a Human Not an AI episode with Chetan Naran. Today's question, which is an anonymous one, is this. I have been following teachers such as Osho, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, Sandeep Maheshwari, etc. for some time now, and I'm seeing your content in their light too. So I wanted to ask you this question. Thank you. I cannot help but see inconsistencies in what they say sometimes. I do not mean to sound skeptical towards all such teachers. I can definitely see value in their teachings, but still would want to resolve this doubt. What do you think is the reason for such inconsistencies? This is a beautiful question. And this is actually, quite honestly, something that I have felt myself too. Not just inconsistencies in sayings of a single teacher, but sometimes inconsistencies in sayings of different teachers. And it is a hard nut to crack sometimes. But when I first read your question, one of the things that came to my mind was you did not really mention which inconsistencies you're talking about, which is a double edged sword, really, because even if you would have mentioned inconsistencies and I would have explained those specific ones, you may not have been able to generalize it to all inconsistencies, let's say. And now that you haven't mentioned, and I'm going to give a general answer, maybe you will not be able to map the general explanation to your specific inconsistency. But whatever, this is the question, and I think the first thing that I would want to talk about when I read this question was a sort of a hilarious story, but something with a very deep pragmatic message. I do not really know if this is true, but it's said that there was a time when someone came over to the Buddha, and asked him if there is a God. And Buddha is said to have thought about it for a few seconds, let's say. And he asked him back, do you believe in God? He says, yes, I do. He says, there is no God. Go and meditate on this. And the same day, another guy came over to Buddha and asked him, do you believe in God? Is there a God? Buddha again asked him back, do you believe in God? He says, of course I don't. There is no God. He says, there is a God. Buddha replies back, there is a God. Go and meditate on this. Now, this little arc of a story can be interpreted as if the Buddha was contradicting himself. But what is the deeper message here is that the the answer given to any question is always dependent on who is asking the question, who is being asked the question, of course, and then the situation that is unfurling between them. So sometimes, let's talk about the Buddha. If this is a true story, the Buddha, when he asked the questioner back whether he believed in a god, and the guy says yes he does, Buddha would have understood that this guy is on one extreme end of the spectrum, and maybe he's too much into belief, maybe he's too far away from understanding, and maybe he's too, ripened with all the dogmas that come along with a belief in God. And therefore, he asked him to go and meditate on the fact that there is no God. And on the other side, the same day, if the story is again true, the same day another guy comes over to the Buddha and asks him if there is a God, and this guy is an atheist. Maybe the Buddha realized that this guy is on the other extreme end of the spectrum, and maybe he has let go of, in the process of letting go of his beliefs, he's also let go of some level of understanding that may have actually helped him look at life better. And therefore, the Buddha's response to him was, there is a God, go and meditate on it. And again, like I said, if you would have watched this in a YouTube video, maybe you would have posed this question in the comment section. Why are you contradicting yourself? But I hope I'm able to make you understand why this is only an apparent contradiction. Now, what I mean to say really is that quite a lot of times, even with the guys that you have mentioned, Osho, Krishnamurti, Sandeep Maheshwari too, I guess, for a lot of these teachers, their videos, their books are actually in a question answer format, which means there was someone with them who was asking a question, and then these guys were responding back to them. And therefore, it may happen that an answer given to a single question on a particular day maybe completely opposite to the answer given to almost a similar question some other day, because it depends on, of course, how that teacher was feeling on that day, how he wanted to respond, but also on what he was called out to respond by whatever was being asked, by however it was being asked. And that is also something that you should consider when you are judging these inconsistencies. This is definitely one that I would say. For example, this is something I've noted on myself. When I said that I have personally seen inconsistencies too, there is a contemporary teacher by the name Acharya Prashant, who I have not delved into too much of his content, but I have seen quite a lot of his YouTube videos, especially back in the day. He talks about Jiddu Krishnamurti as well. He talks about how JK influenced his life. And what is inconsistent in Acharya Prashant and Jiddu Krishnamurti is the fact that JK was absolutely against spiritual books. You would find lectures and you would find JK's books also where he's talking about how you should just burn those damn books away and don't read them at all because they're all full of dogmas. And Acharya Prashant, on the other hand, who is actually influenced by JK, is a very big proponent of reading spiritual books. And in fact, he has written translations and transliteration of so many traditional Indian literature, traditional Indian religious and spiritual literature as well. Now, this is also an inconsistency on the face of it, right? But if you go deeper into it, you'll realize that JK's path was more along the lines of unlearning whatever he was taught because of all of the dogmas that were present in the books that he read when he was a kid. And therefore, his path towards, let's say, enlightenment was one of unlearning, was one of letting go of whatever was written in those books and actually, let's say, encountering the world the way it is and not encountering it the way these books say it is. And therefore, his teachings would also reflect this. His teachings reflect the fact that he does not want you to read any book. He wants you to meditate. He wants you to, even if you're listening to him, he wants you to think about what he's saying. He wants you to meditate on what he's saying. And so he wants you to stay away from these books. And Acharya Prashant, on the other hand, he is someone who was influenced by JK. He is someone who maybe received the right books and the right interpretations of the right books at the right time. And therefore, because he flowered, because of all the beautiful books he read via Osho, JK, Rumi, Khalil Gibran, etc., he is someone who is a big proponent of reading books. And therefore, he himself would write a lot of books. And for everyone who would ask him to, as to even something as basic as what should I gift my friend on a birthday, his answer would be gift a book, because anyone who's not gifting you a book is not really your true friend. This is how much he is a proponent of reading books. So again, an inconsistency on the face of it is actually not really an inconsistency. It's only an apparent inconsistency before you delve into what is actually happening. So this is how I would explain this. I hope it helps you understand that the inconsistencies that you may be seeing in these teachers in their teachings is only an apparent inconsistency on the face of it. And if you apply what I'm talking about, you will actually see that maybe there is no inconsistency at all. And one more thing that actually comes to my mind is, at times, having too much consistency is actually a matter of being of a fixed mind, which is not really in line with being an enlightened person, for that matter. Because if you think about it, if you're always consistent, maybe you yourself are not learning enough. Maybe you yourself are not unlearning those, some of those sticky parts that are still present in your psyche, in however it is that you say the things that you have realized. And therefore, this is also one thing that you should be careful of. Maybe it is that you are expecting everyone to be, especially your teachers, your gurus, to be extremely consistent all the time. And that is not humanly possible. So, no matter how much of a pedestal you put these gurus on, at the end of the day, they are also human beings, and they will, their vocabulary, their ways of expressing what they want to talk about will always keep changing with time. And therefore, again, that growth, that deviation from what they had said before may get interpreted as an inconsistency, and in this case it actually might be an inconsistency. So that is also something to be kept in mind. I don't think inconsistency as such, or contradicting yourself as such, is a bad sign. And I'm sure, since you're saying that you're seeing my work in their light too, I'm pretty sure if you watch all of my content over the years to come, you will start to see inconsistencies in what I say too. And I hope you will excuse me for that. Well, okay, I think that is about it. That's all I wanted to talk about with regards to this question. I hope I was able to make you understand this better. I hope this was useful to you. If you, as a listener, have any question for me, you can feel free to shoot me a question on my Ask a Human Not an AI page. The link would be appearing on your description, in the description of this video right now. And that's about it. I'll see you in the playground the next time. Until next time, so.